and who shouldn't be allowed to and who should be allowed to participate and who shouldn't be allowed to participate in our contests. So the message, ladies and gentlemen, if I can reiterate it, please take it back to all of the members, everybody that you bump into, every single WhatsApp group that you are on. Please, the members must be very, very aware of the rules of participation as a role player and as a contestant. The rules have changed. They changed on the 1st of July, 2022, and they will be in place until the 30th of June, 2023. The biggest change in the rules is that if you are currently serving in any sort of district leadership position, you cannot participate as a contestant, and now here's the big news, as a role player in any of the contests. Plus, if you are thinking ambitiously about being a district leader, you want your name on that website, on the webpage, on our District 74 website that says leadership, you want your name on that page, please, you cannot participate in any of the official contests. So if you are looking to get elected for 2023, please do not participate, or obviously do not compete. All right, this afternoon is all about the briefings, and that's one of the key aspects to consider when you are thinking of, when you are hosting your contestant briefing. So step number one, make sure they are eligible. When you bring your contestants in for their briefing, ladies and gentlemen, rule number one, according to the rule book, it must be a live briefing. You cannot record, you cannot send WhatsApp voice messages, you cannot send them to a website. Your briefing for your contests must take place live with your contestants and obviously role players. So with your contestants, step number one, find out if they are eligible. There is an eligibility form that they need to fill in and sign. The good news is they don't have to now sign one for every single contest like we had to do in the past. There is one form and there's multiple tick boxes. So they will fill in the form, they will tick the contest that they are participating in, and they will declare their eligibility. They need to be a paid up member in good standing. This is for all of your role players. No guests, no visitors, well, you can have visitors, but no guests from outside of Toastmasters. Everybody involved in your contest, unless they're an audience member, everyone else in your contest, whatever hat they're wearing, must be a paid up member of Toastmasters International and must belong to a club in good standing. In other words, a club that has been verified for this period. Otherwise, they cannot be a participant. Then, and obviously in the speech contest, the international speech contest, make sure everybody has completed level 2 on any pathway, anywhere in the world. It doesn't matter what district they were able to achieve that, where they were on the planet at the time, as long as they have level 2. And you can check that on your membership lists. Area directors, please make sure that when you get your contestants coming through from club, speak to your clubs, check those membership lists. It will tell you what level they're at. If they are in the table topics or the evaluation contest, they do not have to have any sort of history or experience. They can jump in there at any time along their journey. Once you've sorted out their eligibility, you're going to move on rapidly and speak to them about their topic choice and language. The international speech contest must be in English. This is compulsory. This is as per the rule book. It must be in English. Traditionally, in District 74, our evaluation and our tables topics contests are in English. Our judges will be prepared to judge in English. So unfortunately, if anybody else wants to compete in table topics or evaluation in any other language, it's going to be difficult for them to be judged, and they're going to lose marks because the judges don't understand. But the international speech contest is compulsory. It must be in English. For the topic for the international speech contest, it does not have to be humorous. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm speaking to you now as contestants because I'm giving you a bit of a breakdown of the contestants briefing. please make sure that you understand you do not have to be humorous. The majority of your marks on that judge's ballot come from purpose, message, structure. What is your purpose? What is your message? What is your structure? If you make that happen, there is no points on the ballot sheet for humorous. There's no points. It does not have to be funny. You don't have to put that pressure on yourself. Please remember that. Please take that pressure off yourself. If you're not a funny person, that is okay. For the table topics contest, it is going to be a single topic that will be shared and will be used by all contestants. Now, to contest chairs out there, you are the very special, unique people that get to choose this topic. The advice from Toastmasters International is always choose a topic that allows for an opinion. Our table topics that we give in meetings and especially in contests, the guidelines from Toastmasters International is to always allow for an opinion. So something like I woke up this morning and I went ... is not an opinion. The internet is the best thing invented since sliced bread. I can now give you an opinion. Yes, I agree with you. No, I disagree with you. So please, contest chairs, be very careful when choosing your topics. Also, please be very careful choosing your topics on the expectation of your contestants' knowledge. Not everybody is watching the news. Not everybody knows every single politician's name. Not every single person knows every sports team or spiritual holiday or anything like that. Please be very, very careful. And remember, find a topic that's quite short and relative that they can hear it. So sometimes people give quite a long topic, almost like a debate opening paragraph, and they've got to repeat that twice. And by the time the person starts speaking, they've totally forgotten the question or they've totally forgotten the topic. So go for something bold, go for something bright, go for something short and breezy that allows for an opinion from any human being on this planet, no matter where they live, what language they speak, what gender, creed, race, pronoun they are. That is your best chance of getting good table topics out of your contestants. Once you've spoken to your contestants about their topics, speak to them about the timings that are allowed to them for each contest. Speak to them about pinning their timers. Zoom Masters online, you cannot spotlight your timers. Your judges cannot have this advantage. It is up to the speakers to personally pin the timers. Please do not allow the timers to put their hands up, to raise their hands so that they jump to the front of the queue, because now judges can also see them. The timer must be pinned. Zoom Masters, when you create that room, rename every single role player with their role, except for your contestants. Your contestants are the only ones that hold on to their real names. Those are the only real names we're interested in. Everybody else on a Zoom call becomes their role, and they must look for timer and pin the timer. Discuss with your contestants what will happen with timing when it comes to technical difficulties. Remember, they've got 2 minutes when the contest chair says, "Are you ready? Have you pinned the timers?" They have 2 minutes to get ready. If they're not ready in 2 minutes, it's really at the discretion of the contest chair and the chief judge if you want to disqualify them. Once they start speaking, if at any time while they are speaking, contest chairs, you notice that they are no longer audible or visible, you can immediately call for your timers to pause their time. That contestant now has 5 minutes to get back online and reconnect audio and or reconnect video. It is advisable that you have a third timer, whether it's a backup timer or one of your Zoom masters, to time those 5 minutes, because your timers have paused their time. You don't want them doing another time. Once the contestant is back in the room, hopefully within 5 minutes, once they're back in the room, they must carry on speaking as if they were uninterrupted, and the timers must start timing. You as the contest chair can kick this all off by saying, "Ready, go," or "You may begin," however you want to kick off your timers officially. If a contestant is not able to get back on during those 5 minutes, they are not disqualified. All of your judges are encouraged and told to judge based on what they have heard and seen up until that point. They might not have a great closing, they might not be this brilliant takeaway, but they must judge. Nobody will be disqualified at this point, but they obviously, it's going to be difficult for your judges to give them all of the points, especially if there's no conclusion. Please remind your contestants that they must be at the speaker draw, whether the speaker draw is happening during the briefing or the speaker draw is happening at the event just before the contest. Your briefing with your speakers and your role players is supposed to take place 2 weeks before the event, according to the rule book. I know that this is difficult for a lot of people and not many people get this right. Our particular club, we're having ours a week before. So you might want to only do your speaker draw just before the contest because, you know, load shedding, COVID, flu, sunburn. People might not arrive on the night or on the day. So it's really up to you. However, please remind your contestants when you are having that draw, and remind your contestants they physically must be there. You cannot draw on their behalf. The other contestants cannot draw on their behalf. I'm coming to you, Lynette. If they are not physically there, they must have a representative. That representative cannot be the contest chair, and it cannot be one of the other contestants. It must be somebody completely different. Lynette.
I just have a question around this, Kirsten. All except your club contests are going to be online.
Yes.
Now, you are saying that the person must be physically there for the briefing. Do you mean
Online.
them personally in the meeting, not sending someone else?
So for the speaker draw, they need to be in the same space physically as the contest chair. So if that means online, then they need to be in that Zoom session or team session or whatever it is.
Okay.
With it, if they cannot, they are allowed to send a representative. But the representative, they can't ask another contestant and they can't ask the contest chair. So they've got to ask somebody completely different that doesn't have a role that night for that event to be their representative.
All right, but this happens in a Zoom meeting, everybody's in.
Correct.
Thanks.
Okay. If your contestant is not in that speaking draw order, you cannot draw for them. They will not have a place in your speaking order. You can't just add them to the bottom. They literally can't compete. That is how important that draw is. They need to be at that draw. Please remind them. Okay, then last but not least, when you're speaking to your contestants, explain to them about the breakout rooms, whether that's a physical breakout room or a Zoom electronic breakout room. For the evaluation contest, they will be sent to a breakout room where they will have 5 minutes to complete their evaluation. Once they have completed the evaluation on the official paperwork, they must show, now it says in the handbook, they must show their hands to the sergeant at arms who's in that breakout room with them, whether that sergeant at arms is called a Zoom master or not. They must show their hands to the Zoom master while they are waiting their turn to go speak. Same with the table topics. So if you read the manual, which is the Guide to Online and Hybrid Meetings, Toastmasters International 2022-2023, it speaks there about those breakout rooms and the fact that the sergeant at arms Zoom master must be able to see their hands. When they explain to them that when they're brought back to the main room, they should have themselves muted and they should only speak when the contest chair acknowledges them. They're going to be the only ones with their video on, besides the contestant who might still be speaking if they were brought in by error. But the idea is they're going to be brought in during that minute of silence while the judges are filling in the ballot based on the previous participant. So they need to come into silence and they need to be muted. They will unmute themselves when the contest chair says, "Are you ready? Have you pinned the timers?" So that minute that they are waiting, they should genuinely start looking for the timers and start pinning the timers. Okay. Then please explain to you, the one thing I forgot under timing, please explain to your contestants that when they are announced, their name will be read, their speech title again, and then their name. No other introduction, nothing. That is it. Name, title, name. Same with table topics. Name, topic, name. Evaluation, name. That's it. In an online meeting, your entire audience has no video and no audio. So there is no applause. They will be timed from the moment they make a physical or verbal action, deliberate action. So they are allowed to face the camera and literally catch their breath. And the sun rose. And then only because I went like that, do your timers start timing. So according to the rule book, you are allowed to take your time to start presenting. They say that the time should be at the discretion of the timers. If they feel that the person is standing up there and taking way too much long to gather their breath and calm their nerves, the timers can start timing. But it needs to be a lengthy, uncomfortable silence. Your contestants are allowed to catch their breath when they get on that stage. But as soon as they make a deliberate verbal or non-verbal action, the recording will, the timing will stop. Right, so that is my notes from the contestants briefing. We have some awesome experienced Toastmasters contest chairs in this room. Is there anything I have left out? Is there anything you cover in your contest briefing that we should know about? Lynette? Don't be quiet this time, Lynette.
I can't think of anything. The contestants are the only people who could raise an objection that I think you cover on the contest briefing as well. And the fact that they need to pin the timer, which we've covered, and that they need to stand back from the camera, which I think we covered last time we spoke, 3 paces back. Kirsten, I can't think of anything else.
Okay, so that was the other thing, speaking area. You do need to speak about the speaking area. Well done.
Yes, define the speaking area.
Define the speaking area. So thank you for that. We definitely please define the speaking area with your contestants. I will send you my list here that I've created, just a bullet list. I will share that with you. Madeleine, hello, strangers.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you, Kirsten?
Good, thank you. What do you want to share?
I was wondering, sometimes the Zoom masters spotlight the timers, which they're not supposed to do. I don't know if you mentioned that, but I think it's just sometimes worth reminding everybody that they shouldn't be spotlighted. Another question that I wanted to know is, we've started in our normal club meetings, if the timer raises his hand, he pops actually up to the left-hand corner of the screen. Is that allowed during contest, or should he do it right?
That's the same as being spotlighted, because now you're on the top and everyone's machine, including the judges. So no.
The timer not allowed to do that?
No.
Okay. Perfect.
Cannot assist anyone in the room. It is up to the contestant to find the time.
Okay. Just wanted to check. Perfect. Thank you.
Oh.
And then another question. I mean, it's a bit more general, but the table topics and evaluation contests at club level, do they, especially table topics, do they have to go through such strict, or can the clubs just nominate? I mean,
the clubs can nominate. So remember, all 3 contests are completely separate contests. You're going to open and close each contest. And if you're only giving your results of all the contests right at the end of your event, because you're having all 3 in the evening, you actually adjourn. You've got to adjourn the international speech contest, and then open and adjourn the evaluation, and open and adjourn the table topics. And then you reopen them and then announce the winners and then close them. And that's the contest finished. It's 3 separate events. So if you have an official, an organized event for the international speech contest, but on one night, but then your club decides to elect or nominate speakers to go through for table topics and evaluations, that's completely fine. That's no problem. It's allowed in the rule book. You are, it's really up to the club.
I don't think
Yeah.
lots of people know that.
Yeah,
They put a
but
lot
it
of
must be a
hard effort.
majority decision. So you
Yes.
must take a vote with your club.
Yeah.
Active members must vote.
Thank
Okay.
you. That was all.
Sorry, I'm just a bit
Thanks,
confused with
Marlene.
what you just said now about international speeches, table topics, and the other one. So can we have them all at the same time at club level?
Yes.
Okay.
So we have ours always at my clubs. So we have our international speech contest first, and then it gets adjourned. Then we have the evaluation contest and it gets adjourned. Then we have the table topics contest and it gets adjourned. When it is being adjourned, before it can be adjourned, please, ladies and gentlemen, before it can be adjourned, every single ballot and record sheet must be collected. You cannot adjourn that meeting until your chief judge has all the voting judges' slips and the timers' records. They don't need to rush off and go and count them with the ballot counters, but they cannot leave that documentation with the voting judges. The voting judges can't have more time after they've seen someone speak in table topics to change that ballot. They must hand in all of those ballots. So once you've collected the ballots, you can adjourn those. Then you can, while you are interviewing the contestants, the chief judge and the ballot counters can go and do all the counting, put the names on the certificates in beautiful handwriting. And then when you finish interviewing the contestants, you can then say, we're now going to reopen the international speech contest. There was no disqualifications. Here are the winners in reverse order, third, second, and first place. Congratulations. I now close the international speech contest. I am now going to open the evaluation contest, so forth and so on. Makes sense? Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Pleasure. Is that, sorry, Bowen? Madeleine, can I lower your hand or have you got it up again? Is that Francois? No, it's not
Francois, yes.
Francoise. Hi,
Yes.
Francoise.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
I'm good, thank you. My question is, I think I have a video comment. Let me just do the video. All right, my question is, you mentioned earlier that you only need one form that needs to be filled by the contestant. What if, two?
Yeah, so
That
sorry,
includes-
to be technically correct, it's the one form is their eligibility. There's a second form, which is their profile, where they tell you all about themselves. So there's two forms for them to complete, but yes, the one that you desperately need by law is the eligibility.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yes.
okay. So then do I need to give them the video release form? For example, if it's a hybrid, let's say it's a hybrid contest, so you're in-house, still online. Do I still need to give the contestants a video release form, give them a permission, which is the permission for the recording?
The video release form technically is only for the international semifinals. So that's after they've got through district. That form is critical. So we don't sign that form at club, area, division, and district level.
Oh, okay. I learned something. Okay.
So that video release form is because they will if they make it through district and get through to semifinals for international, they need to sign that video release form because their video is going to be sent to many judges around the world. And it's a release form to allow that to happen.
Oh, okay. So there's no need. All right.
Thank you. Not at area, not at club, area, or division. At district, I'll probably ask all the contestants to sign it up front, just in case they want their lawyers to check it.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. Okay.
Pleasure. Anything else, guys? No. Okay. Then for the role players briefing. I created a huge PowerPoint file, which I have shared in the WhatsApp group. If you didn't get it, we can share it again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go through this, I've tried to put as much as I can in here. I don't know if you know, my superpower is information overload. I was born with it. So I've tried to put as much in here. What happens is when you get here, depending on who you're briefing, and you might want to brief people at different times. So with the Zoom masters and the timers, I like to brief them together with the contest chair, because the three of them are very, very involved, and basically encourage the Zoom masters, the timers, to actually follow the speech contest chair's script, because it gives them an idea of what's going on, what's happening, where they should be, what they should be switching on, what they should be switching off. And then with the judges, you know, with your chief judge, the chief judge can handle the briefing session with the judges and ballot counters on their own. As contest chair, you can do the Zoom masters and timers, or you can ask your chief judge to do that as well. But there's actually a lot of information, especially because we're dealing with first-time users. So we've got a lot of new members that are getting involved in contests because we cannot use the more experienced Toastmasters. So you're going to probably want to spend more time on your briefings. So I just did briefings this week, and the Zoom masters and the timers were 45 minutes on their own, because there was just so many questions and interactions, and please explain that again, and can I have a picture, and can you use crayons, so forth and so on. And it's just because we are genuinely working with newbies, you know, new users. So it's going to take time. So where you're looking at judges, you've probably got more experienced Toastmasters, but to have them all together with your ballot counters, your chief judge, and have them as a group. If you use this particular PowerPoint presentation, all you have to do is click on whatever group you've got, and it's going to take you through that briefing, line by line. Like I said, I have done as much as I can possibly do to make sure everybody is ready. So it literally is a summary of the rule book in one presentation. So the timers, you see the Zoom masters only had 2 slides, but with the timers, we go right into all of the details. The fact that they shouldn't be, you know, recording or measuring nanoseconds or fractions of a second. We talk about the whole process of recording every single contestant, what the timings are, where the disqualifications happen, how to display their signals. We go through all of that, and that is their thing. So like I said, it took 45 minutes, but I had 2 brand new. So I've got 1 experienced timer, 1 brand new. I've got 1 experienced Zoom master and 1 semi-experienced Zoom master. So we spent a lot of time understanding contests and the roles and the responsibilities. So that did take 45 minutes. If you now sit with your chief judge, you as the contest chair can give your chief judge their briefing, and then they can go off. But again, just make sure that you and the chief judge understand how many judges you need. And what are the judges' requirements? What are going to make sure that you understand that they are eligible? There's a lot of technicalities. So this whole briefing is literally for the contest chair, who is normally the person that's fully in charge of the event, to go through with their chief judge, literally before they start recruiting role models, role players, all in an actual briefing. Okay, there is a judge's code of ethics and a whole stack of stuff here. Okay, so everything, literally everything that is relevant to you from the rule book. And then this one, the contest voting judges, this literally is half an hour on its own. We go through exactly what is required of them, what they can do, what they cannot do, how they must actually behave. This code of ethics, this is where you spend a lot of time. Each point, discuss it, remind them, go through this. And if they have any problems with the code of ethics, then they probably shouldn't be a judge. Because this is what your contestants are expecting at every single level, is that this code of ethics has been followed and implemented. Okay, and again, all about preparation, protest, originality. We go through the whole process so that they're actually involved, and their procedure of how to judge, when to judge, how to fill in their forms, and what to do with their paperwork. And exactly the same with the ballot counters. Okay, so you can just go through this, use what you need, share it with your role players if you want to, but remember, you still need to have a live role players briefing. So even if you share this PowerPoint with them, please make sure you still go through it with them together. Are there any questions, comments, observations, concerns, anything in regards to this?
Kristen, do you have a list of the chief judges?
Division chief judges?
Yes.
Not
Or,
yet.
okay.
It has been a bit slow. We are chasing up, yeah.
Because we need to start booking our slots, but we obviously need to make
Correct.
sure the chief judges are available.
Correct. So my best advice to you is to get hold of your division directors. That is my advice to you. I need to know as well. To get hold of your division directors and ask who your division chief judges are. And if any of you find out, please can you let me know. If you find any division chief judges, please can you let me know. Okay. Madeleine, but yes, reach out to your division director personally, directly, and on offline, online, and find out. Yeah.
Yeah, we're supposed to have one, but I'm not quite sure he's going to do it. So that's why I was curious. I'll follow up.
I've got to be honest. I think it's slow and it's been difficult this year because of that rule that if you want to be any district leader in 2020, starting from the 1st of July 2023, you cannot take on a role. So it's taken out a lot of ambitious, dedicated, loyal, motivated Toastmasters. So we need to recruit people outside of the normal circles. And I think that's why it has been challenging this year and slow. Okay. Anyone else want to ask a question, make a comment? Gabrielle, hi again. Thank you for being so faithful. Welcome again. Gabrielle, I think you are muted.
No, it's a lot to learn and to remember. And I wanted to thank you, number one, for being such an excellent guide and giving us all the information, what's up, etc. I have a completely other question. If it doesn't belong here, then please stop me immediately. How do you deal with somebody who just 4 weeks before the contest starts wants to become a member in your club? And the suspicion arises as well that this person uses your club to get to get a better start off, for the competition. Surely you cannot you cannot not allow anybody to become a member, but if it's just 4 weeks before contest and somebody is a very good speaker and is a DTM and got all the accolades, what is the position? If you can answer that, or we just leave it.
No, so it is a real thing that happens in Toastmasters International, and this isn't the first time it's happened. And there are some, international speakers, that is their profession. That do go and join clubs just before the contest. It is truly up to the club. So, if you go back to the governing documents and our club constitutions, do you know that you are supposed to vote in every single new member? You're not supposed to just accept an application form. you are supposed to ask your members to vote, and you're supposed to have a business meeting, and you are supposed to vote your members in. Unfortunately, if you're not doing that as practiced, leading up to this, and now you can't suddenly go and decide that you're doing it now. Unfortunately, it is what it is. Unfortunately. So, Gabriella, there's no document that I can say that will support you. Unfortunately, all the documents actually do the opposite to what you're looking at. So this is probably more about a relationship and probably more about a conversation with this particular member.
Right.
And point out that you have, ambitious members in your club that have been working for this for a very long time. A cup of coffee and a conversation.
And then would you say face-to-face conversation?
Probably. Also, it could be a Zoom conversation.
Okay.
It depends on the person that you need to speak to, but I would definitely not do this in writing or over the telephone. I would definitely have some sort of facial interaction. And it would be a conversation. It would really be a conversation.
Okay, thank you.
My advice is don't invite your whole leadership team. So don't have a whole board of people ganging up against one human being. But just to have a conversation.
Okay, good. Thanks, Kirsten.
All right. Thank you. Happiness, you got your hand up. It's going to be the last question this afternoon.
Good evening. How are you?
Good, thanks, and you. Welcome.
Good. I've got a question. We've got somebody in our club who's interested to participate on the contest. But the question is, how do we support him at a club level? So what are the steps that he needs to take for him to participate? Thank you.
Thank you, Happiness. Is it a new member, Happiness? And is there only one member in your club that wants to compete this year?
Yes, it's only one member.
Only one member, and is he a new member?
He's not new.
Oh, okay. So has he competed before?
No, he hasn't competed before.
Okay. So my advice is to encourage him to go and watch as many speech contests as he can, to find out when the other clubs are having their contests and to go and have a look and to go and have a listen. That would be my advice. Point. My other advice would be to get online to the international website. There is a speech contest webpage, part of the international website dedicated to speech contests. And it's got so many resources on it, including tutorials, where it's training videos about the contest and the different roles in the contest. And there is content there for contestants. Thirdly, and most importantly, I would tell him to go and have a look at the judges' ballots. Get him the judges' ballot for each contest he wants to compete in. He needs to speak to that judge's ballot. If I can spend the last 30 seconds reminding all of you to please remind all of your contestants, they must look at the judge's ballot. I get so frustrated in the evaluation contest. So often, contestants are using the first 60 seconds to do a whole spiel, and nothing they say earns them any points. Nothing, zero. They literally can only earn points in 90 seconds. They shoot themselves in the foot because they're not speaking to the judge's ballot. Please, that judge's ballot is the only voting ballot we use at every single contest on every single level. For your contestant to be well prepared, they should be preparing, practicing, and working towards that judge's ballot. And even though the evaluation and the table topics contests are impromptu, they're not prepared, you still in your mind need to know what the judges are going to be looking for. I don't know if any of you know in the evaluation contest, if you do not give a conclusion, you immediately lose 15 marks out of 100. In the table topics contest, if you do not structure your speech with an opening, a middle, and a close that is obvious, I think you learn, Michael, you'll probably have to help me here. I think it's 20 points out of 100. So guys, please make sure that your contestants have a look at those judges' ballots. Those are the only ballots we use for all contests at all levels.
And
Happiness
no, I've got a follow-up question. The judges' ballot information, do you also get it on the international Toastmasters
on the
International?
international website? Correct. I've given all the links in our WhatsApp group. Happiness, have you joined our WhatsApp group?
Yes, I'm on the WhatsApp group.
Okay, so everything is in there. I will do a repost now of everything after the session. Those of you that are in the WhatsApp group, you're going to be bombarded again. But it is as a reminder. But Happiness, please, all the links for the websites and everything will be in that WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, it's a huge pleasure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is 6:05. Thank you so much.